In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world holds its breath between night and day, there exists a sacred space where the veil grows thin. A single candle flickers in an empty room, casting shadows that dance like memories across the walls. The flame wavers, not from any earthly wind, but from something far more profound, a presence that lingers just beyond our ordinary sight. This was hidden until now. In this hushed sanctuary of solitude, where silence speaks louder than words, the mysteries of connection beyond death begin to unfold. The candle's light seems to pulse with its own rhythm, as though keeping time with a heartbeat that continues to echo from another realm. Each flicker carries with it the whisper of ancient wisdom, that the soul's journey does not end with the final breath, but transforms into something far more magnificent than we ever dared imagine. You know this feeling, don't you? That moment when you're alone with your thoughts, surrounded by the silence that grief brings, and suddenly the air seems to shift. The temperature changes ever so slightly. A photograph falls without reason. A song plays on the radio. Their song, at the exact moment you were thinking of them. What if they're still listening? These moments arrive like gentle ambassadors from eternity, carrying messages written in the universal language of love. They slip through the cracks of ordinary reality, transforming mundane moments into sacred encounters. The rational mind struggles to explain them away, but the heart recognizes their authenticity with a certainty that transcends logic. Your heart carries the weight of words left unspoken, embraces never given, conversations that ended too soon. The regret sits heavy in your chest, a stone that grows heavier with each passing day. You replay those final moments, searching for signs you might have missed, wondering if they knew how much they meant to you. The silence feels endless, like standing at the edge of an ocean that stretches beyond the horizon, calling their name into the wind and hearing only your own echo return. In the depth of this longing, memories surface like bubbles from the ocean floor, precious moments that shimmer with light even through the darkness of loss. The way they laughed at your jokes, how their eyes sparkled when they spoke of their dreams, the warmth of their hand in yours during quiet evenings. These remembrances are not mere mental recordings, but living energies that continue to pulse with life force, carrying within them the seeds of ongoing connection. But grief is not punishment. It is love with nowhere to go. Your tears are not weakness. They are the sacred water that keeps their memory alive in the garden of your soul. Every breath you take in their absence is a testament to the bond that death cannot sever. You are not broken. You are not abandoned. Your grief is seen, and in that seeing, there is a gentle recognition that something profound is stirring just beneath the surface of your awareness. The path of mourning transforms those who walk it, opening chambers of the heart that remained sealed during ordinary times. In this raw vulnerability, the soul becomes more permeable, more receptive to the subtle frequencies that dance constantly around us. What feels like devastating sensitivity is actually a sacred awakening, the soul learning to perceive reality through expanded senses that transcend the limitations of physical form. The invisible whisper begins when the soul learns to listen with senses beyond the physical realm. In the depths of your longing, something awakens, a knowing that transcends the boundaries of what we consider possible. The heart that aches for connection discovers it has been attuned to frequencies the ears cannot capture, vibrations that move through dimensions we barely understand. This awakening often begins subtly, like the first hint of dawn touching the horizon. Perhaps you find yourself pausing in the middle of daily tasks, seized by an inexplicable sense of companionship. Or you notice that certain places, their favorite chair, the garden they tended, the corner of the kitchen where they stood each morning, seem to hold a presence that feels unmistakably them. These experiences mark the beginning of a profound recognition. The soul's capacity to perceive beyond the veil has been activated by love's insistence that connection cannot be severed by physical separation. Edgar Cayce spoke of these moments as the soul's natural inheritance, our birthright to commune with those who have crossed the threshold. He witnessed, in countless readings, how love creates channels through which presence flows, undimmed by the transition we call death. The bond you shared was forged in eternity, not in flesh alone. That connection remains as real as your breath, as present as your pulse. In Cayce's understanding, every soul carries within it the capacity for this expanded perception. Death, rather than ending communication, simply requires us to learn a new vocabulary, one written in energy rather than words, expressed through feeling rather than speech. The departed must learn to speak in this language just as we must learn to listen with newly opened spiritual ears. Consider the tree whose roots run deep beneath the earth, invisible yet vital. What you see above ground is but a fraction of its true existence. So it is with the souls we love. What appears to have ended was merely the visible portion. The roots of connection stretch into realms where time holds no dominion, where love continues its eternal conversation. This ancient metaphor reveals the profound truth that Edgar Cayce taught throughout his lifetime. The visible world represents only a small fraction of total reality. Beneath the surface of what we can see and touch lies an intricate network of spiritual connections, soul bonds that continue to nourish and sustain us even when their physical expressions have been withdrawn from our sight. Maybe there are no words, but there are signs. They speak in the language of synchronicity, in the gentle art of divine coincidence. A butterfly lands on your shoulder during their birthday month. Their favorite flower blooms in your garden when it shouldn't be in season. The clock stops at the exact time they drew their last breath. These are not random events. They are love letters written in the script of mystery. The language of signs operates according to principles that the heart understands, even when the mind struggles to decode their meaning. Like learning to read a foreign script, recognizing these communications requires patience, practice, and above all, the willingness to believe that love is creative enough to find infinite ways to express itself across seemingly impossible barriers. Your intuition has been quietly awakening, hasn't it? That sudden knowing that comes without explanation, the gentle nudge to take a different path, the warmth that fills your chest when you speak their name aloud. This is not your imagination playing tricks. This is your soul recognizing the touch of another soul, the way light recognizes light across vast distances. The awakening of intuitive awareness often accelerates during times of grief, as though loss creates an opening through which deeper perception can finally emerge. You may find yourself knowing things before they happen, sensing the emotional states of others with uncanny accuracy, or receiving guidance that seems to come from a source beyond your own conscious mind. These are not new abilities but ancient capacities that have been waiting for the right conditions to flourish. The language of the beyond speaks through the whispers of your inner knowing. It arrives as sudden insights that feel foreign yet familiar, like memories of a dream you can't quite recall. Edgar Cayce understood this phenomenon, how the spirit world communicates through the vibrational field of the soul, sending messages that bypass the rational mind and land directly in the heart's understanding. In Cayce's cosmology, the soul exists simultaneously in multiple dimensions, with one foot in the physical world and another in the realm of spirit. During times of intense emotion, particularly the raw openness that accompanies grief, the barriers between these dimensions become more permeable, allowing information and influence to flow more freely between them. When you feel that inexplicable urge to visit a certain place, to open a particular book, to call an old friend, pay attention, these impulses often carry more weight than mere whim. They are the gentle guidance of those who walk beside you in dimensions where wisdom flows freely, where love operates without the constraints of physical form. The soul's guidance system operates through gentle promptings rather than dramatic announcements. It whispers rather than shouts, suggests rather than demands. Learning to recognize and trust these subtle nudges becomes an essential skill for those seeking to maintain connection with departed loved ones. What feels like intuition may actually be their way of continuing to care for you, offering protection and direction through the mysterious channels that link soul to soul. In the space between heartbeats, in the pause between thoughts, connection blooms like morning flowers touched by first light. The soul speaks in sensations rather than syllables, in feelings rather than phrases. Do you recognize that moment when sadness transforms suddenly into peace? When the crushing weight of loss lifts for no apparent reason, replaced by an inexplicable knowing that all is well? These sudden shifts in emotional state often mark moments of genuine contact, times when your beloved's influence touches your energy field directly, transmitting comfort that bypasses all logical explanations. The peace that descends without warning, the hope that springs up in the midst of despair, the inexplicable sense that everything will be all right. These are not merely psychological adjustments, but actual transmissions of healing energy from those who have crossed over into fuller understanding. These are not coincidences but communications, not random relief, but recognition between souls. The departed learn to speak in the currency of emotion, painting messages across the canvas of your inner world with brushstrokes of comfort, understanding, and enduring love. In the twilight moments between sleep and waking, a sacred portal opens. This threshold state, which Cayce called the gateway to soul communication, offers passage for the most tender reunions. Here, in the space where conscious control loosens its grip, the soul remembers its ability to travel beyond the boundaries of the body. What happens to the soul on the 9th day? According to ancient wisdom and Cayce's insights, this marks a significant transition in the soul's journey. The newly departed soul begins to understand its expanded existence, learning to communicate across the veil with those still anchored in physical form. It is during this time that many report the most vivid dreams, the clearest sense of presence, the most undeniable signs of continued connection. Your dreams are not mere echoes of memory. They are meeting places where souls convene without the limitations of matter. When you wake with tears on your cheeks but peace in your heart, when you remember conversations that felt more real than reality itself, you have touched something beyond the ordinary boundaries of existence. The dream realm becomes a sanctuary where physical laws hold no sway. Here your beloved appears not as you last saw them, perhaps frail or diminished by illness, but as their truest essence, radiant with the light that was always their core. In these nocturnal reunions, healing words are spoken, forgiveness flows freely, and love expresses itself without the barriers that sometimes constrained it in earthly form. How many nights have you awakened feeling as though you've truly been together? How often has a dream conversation provided exactly the comfort your grieving heart needed to hear? These experiences carry the signature of genuine soul contact, the unmistakable resonance of authentic connection across dimensions. Yet even in waking hours, the communication continues through subtler channels. The sudden appearance of their favorite bird at your window, the unexpected discovery of a lost item that belonged to them, appearing in a place you've searched countless times before. The strangers who approach you with kindness that carries their particular brand of caring. These are all expressions of their ongoing presence in your life. Like a river that finds countless ways to reach the sea, love discovers infinite pathways to bridge the apparent separation between worlds. Some channels flow quietly underground, felt more than seen. Others burst forth in moments of such clear recognition that doubt becomes impossible, leaving you breathless with the magnitude of connection that death could not diminish. If you received a letter from beyond, what would it say? Perhaps something like this. My dearest one, I write to you from a place where words are not needed, yet love speaks louder than ever before. I am not gone. I am simply changed, like water becoming vapor, still present but in a different form. The love we shared was not dependent on my physical presence. It was woven into the very fabric of who you are. When you feel that familiar warmth, when you catch the scent of my cologne on the wind, when you hear my laughter and the sound of rain, that is me, speaking to you in the only way I can now. Do not grieve the silence, for I have never stopped talking to you. Listen with your heart, not your ears. I am in every sunrise that reminds you of hope, every gentle breeze that carries comfort, every unexpected moment of joy that lifts your spirit. The transition I made has not diminished our bond. It has revealed its true nature, eternal, unbreakable, written in the language of souls. Continue to live, to love, to grow. I am not waiting somewhere far away. I am with you in every step forward you take. The love continues, just in a different key. Your tears water the garden of memory, but do not let them drown the seeds of new joy I keep planting in your path. I see your struggle, feel your longing, and I wish I could wrap you in the light that surrounds me here. Instead, I send that light through others, through the friend who calls at just the right moment, the stranger who offers unexpected kindness, the sunset that stops you in your tracks with its beauty. These are my gifts to you, my ways of saying I love you still. I am proud of your courage, and I will never leave you to walk this path alone. Until we meet again in that place where there is no more goodbye, know that you carry me with you always. This letter exists in countless variations, written by love across the bridge of eternity. They say they still walk beside you, even if you can't see them. This is not consolation. This is truth that mystics and mediums throughout history have recognized. Cayce spoke of how the soul energy of our beloved continues to interact with our own, creating moments of recognition that feel like coming home. Some souls are more naturally attuned to these subtle communications, like instruments already tuned to the frequency of the spirit world. But this sensitivity is not a gift reserved for the few. It is a capacity that lies dormant in every heart that has loved deeply. Grief has a way of opening these channels, making us more receptive to the whispers that surround us constantly. Think of it as learning a new language, not of words but of essence, not of sound but of soul. At first, the communications seem unclear, easily dismissed as wishful thinking or psychological comfort. But as you practice the art of spiritual listening, the messages become clearer, the connection stronger, the reality of ongoing relationship undeniable. The veil between worlds grows thinner when approached with the right combination of openness and reverence. Your faith need not be shaken by this knowing. It can be expanded. The divine love that created the soul does not extinguish it at death, but rather releases it into a broader expression of itself. What we call the afterlife is simply life in its fuller manifestation. This expanded understanding of existence offers profound comfort to those wrestling with questions about divine justice and eternal love. If God is truly love, as spiritual traditions teach, then love would not create souls only to destroy them through death. Instead, death becomes graduation, a transition into greater freedom, deeper understanding, and more complete expression of the love that is our essential nature. Edgar Cayce's readings revealed that consciousness survives bodily death because consciousness was never dependent on the body to begin with. The soul uses the physical form as a temporary dwelling, but its true home is in the realm of spirit, where love is the only law and connection is the natural state of being. In this perspective, what we experience as death is merely the soul stepping out of one set of clothing and into another, from the dense garments of physical form into the lighter, more luminous vestments of spiritual existence. The essential self remains unchanged, recognizable to those who loved them, capable of continued relationship through new and wonderful means. Why do some people sense these connections more readily than others? The answer lies not in special gifts, but in openness of heart, in willingness to believe that love is stronger than death, that consciousness is vaster than the brain, that reality includes dimensions beyond the purely physical. Fear often blocks these channels. Fear of being deceived, fear of appearing foolish, fear of opening wounds that have barely begun to heal. But love casts out fear, and when the heart opens in genuine longing for connection, the soul finds ways to respond that transcend every limitation the mind thought was absolute. Your moments of sensing their presence are not your mind creating comfort. They are your soul recognizing what it has always known, that love transcends every limitation we thought was absolute. The warmth you feel when you speak to them, the peace that comes when you visit places you shared, the inexplicable knowing that they approve of the choices you make. These are not projections of your longing, but genuine points of contact between your world and theirs. You are not alone in this experience. Throughout history, countless souls have walked this path of connection beyond the veil. You join a communion of the bereaved who have discovered that death is not an ending, but a transformation, not a wall, but a doorway through which love continues to flow. The silence you sometimes experience is not their absence. It is the quiet that comes before understanding, the pause that precedes recognition. Even in the moments when you cannot feel them near, Their influence continues to move through your life in ways both seen and unseen. The strength you find to carry on, the unexpected moments of beauty that catch your breath, the love you continue to give to others, all of these carry the imprint of their ongoing presence in your soul. How different would your days feel if you truly believed that love creates eternal bonds? What peace might settle over your grieving heart if you knew beyond doubt that those bonds remain unbroken, merely transformed? What hope might dawn if you understood that what appears to be an ending is actually a new form of beginning? Like a musician who learns to play in a different key while maintaining the same beautiful melody, your beloved has learned to express their love through new instruments, through synchronicity, through dreams, through the sudden appearance of exactly what you need when you need it most. The song continues, even though the instrument has changed. As the candle flame steadies in the still air, remember that love is the eternal light that never goes out. Your connection transcends the boundaries of what we call life and death. In the expanding circle of souls who understand this truth, you find your place, not as one left behind, but as one who continues the sacred conversation between worlds. The love that once warmed your days still burns bright. Love never ends, it only changes form.